you slip and fall and fracture your leg. You can't walk on it, it's swollen and painful. You're obviously in need of treatment, an x-ray, maybe a cast. So you ask for help. But instead you're told to stop making it up, your leg is just fine. You're told to stop feeling sorry for yourself and to just toughen up. You're denied treatment, insurance coverage, medication, but most importantly, the support from your friends and family who seem to not even believe you, let alone listen. Now, can you actually imagine that happening in real life? Of course not, except it does happen, but not to a broken leg, but to those suffering with mental illness. Now let's say you do finally get through to someone and you get your cast and people can actually see that there's something wrong. Except now, they don't just ignore you, let alone help you up the stairs. They run from you. They dread your company. They marginalize you. So no, mental illness is nothing like a broken leg. Stigma, a noun, a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. In other words, stigma is shame. It worsens the already unbearable suffering of those with mental illness. They become more reluctant to seek help or treatment. There are fewer opportunities for finding work, school, or social activities. They become more susceptible to bullying, physical violence, and harassment. Yet the most damaging is the reinforced belief that they can never succeed at certain challenges or that they will never improve their situation. But where does all this come from? Misinformation, lack of education, and negative portrayal in the media, cinematography, and literature. For example, in many major films and TV shows, the villain often has a mental illness that somehow explains their violent behavior. When in reality, statistics show that those with mental illness are equally as, if not less likely, to commit a violent crime than anyone else. The truth is, mental illness is a crowd puller, used just like supernatural monsters, something that is undiscovered and obscure. It increases revenue, exploits the reality of the illness, and poisons the lives of those affected by it. Split, a major film released in 2017 about a man with dissociative identity disorder, who kidnaps young girls, is a cannibal, and turns into a monster. The film was followed by detrimental consequences to the DID community. See, mental illness doesn't produce monsters. Many of the people we admire suffered from it, like Charles Dickens, Charles Darwin, Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton, and so many more of those who shaped the world as we know it today. So really, it's quite the opposite of monstrosity. However, if it's not villainization, it's romanticism. Another very popular show, 13 Reasons Why, a Netflix original targeted at a young, impressionable audience where a teen girl committed suicide. The results were lethal. Studies show that teenagers thought that mental illness was a way to gain attention, and suicide rates among children of ages 10 to 17 rose by 28.9% in April of 2017, the month after the show was released. So no, this is not progress, this is regression. There's so many better ways of portraying and including mental illness in entertainment media. Many mental health disorders start at childhood or adolescence, the most fundamental stages of one's development. Therefore, it is vital that the adults surrounding these children are well equipped, knowledgeable, and trained in mental health. And not only in recognizing the red flags, but also in not stigmatizing and educating the children. We would all like to believe that by now children can feel safe and accepted by the adults surrounding them. But that's not always the case. For example, I heard an adult say this to a group of children, and I quote, What's all this depression and anxiety business? Get over yourselves. All this nonsense is just an excuse for your laziness. This was their role model. Another instance was when an adult disclosed a child's private medical records of mental illness to another group of children. She warned us to be wary of him and not to provoke him. This is a crime that is masked by a position of power that no child would ever dare to report. Now, because of their actions, children feel blamed and shamed for a condition that they cannot control. And if others may later discover that they're struggling, they won't go seek help because of a preconceived notion fed to them by an adult that they respected. And this is not an anomaly. This happens on the daily and everywhere. But what can we do? We as a society must work to change this. And regardless of whether you or someone you know has been affected by it, but even if you have no connection to it at all. Because this could happen to any one of us at any time. So, talk openly about mental health. Educate yourself and others. Be conscious of your language. Choose equality between mental and physical illness. Show compassion towards those with mental illness. Choose empowerment over shame. Be honest about treatment. Let the media know when they're being stigmatizing. And don't harbor self-stigma. And most importantly, think. And think critically before you choose to believe or follow a societal prejudice. Thank you.